You know that sinking feeling. You unpack your groceries, smile at the deal tags, and then over the next few days, you watch parts of your haul rot, spoil, or turn into trash. Guess what? You're not just bad at meal planning. The system is rigged. Every year, Americans flush nearly $2,500 worth of food into the bin. That's not a budget fail. It's a broken promise. And here's what's wild. A huge slice of that waste comes from so-called cheap deals. People see low prices and assume there's value, but value hides in plain sight. Or more often, it gets swapped out. How many times have you bragged about a bargain, then ended up regretting it? Today, I'm pulling back the curtain on 7 products that wear budget as a mask. They look like steals, but hit you in the gut later, and by the time you realize it, you're already stuck. Watch closely. You'll want to see number 1. Let's kick off with packaged fruits and vegetables. The setup is seductive. Bags that look crisp, berries that glimmer, greens prepped and ready. But once you bring them home, it's like time-lapse decay. Those berries mold. The spinach wilts. That deal turns into a trash session. You wanted health, convenience, savings. You ended with decay and regret. This isn't anecdotal. Customers across forums report the same heartbreak. One week the produce seems fine. The next week it's mush. You start wondering, if I only get a day or two before spoilage, am I really saving anything? The math fails you. Half the bag in the trash is a loss, not a bargain. You see a value sticker, you assume it's safe. But sometimes that sticker disguises a trap. You don't just lose money, you lose trust. Next, Clancy's nacho cheese tortilla chips. You stroll past the snack wall, spot an orange bag, it whispers, Doritos rival. But you tear it open and crickets. No cheese dust coating your fingers, no bold flavor memory. Instead, bland crunch. Underwhelming, a snack with its soul removed. There's an emotional side to snacks. Comfort, nostalgia, simple joy. And this one robs you of all that. One Reddit user nailed it, warning, they have a stale aroma. 1 in 10 chips had a hint of spice, the rest tasted like draining tuna water. That's not exaggeration. That's rabid disappointment. Why settle for imitation when the real thing is just a little more? That's the trick. The save steals your experience. Then there's Clancy's cheese crackers. You open it thinking, yep, salty, cheesy goodness. Instead, you get crumbly cardboard that tastes like it gave up halfway through. No snap, no flavor punch. Just a hollow echo of what it should be. The betrayal is more than taste. It's the dashed hope. You grab it for movie nights or road trips, expecting that tiny pleasure. But when it collapses on your palate, the loss feels bigger than a few cents. That dent in your trust sticks. At this point, you're sensing a pattern. Looks, labels, promise. But actual substance? Rarely. And if you've ever been fooled by one of these, you're not alone. If this feels like insider intel you've been waiting for, subscribe to Undercover Spoon now. Yes, do it. You'll thank yourself later. The rest of this list gets messier before it gets good. We've covered 3 so far, but the next ones go deeper. Frozen indulgences that lie, healthy labels that lie harder, and cons built on shortcuts. Stick with me. You'll want to see number 1. Let's talk about specially selected lobster mac and cheese, or as it should be labeled, fancy-sounding food crime. You see lobster and imagine creamy decadence. Comfort, maybe even a little luxury for your Tuesday night. But once you pop it in the microwave, that smell isn't rich cheese or savory seafood. It's weird, off, suspicious. The kind of fishy that raises eyebrows, not appetites. Then comes the bite. And oh boy, it's like someone mixed rubbery seafood scraps with powdered mac sauce and hoped the label would distract you. What should be velvety and indulgent is chalky and jarring. Real lobster flavor? Forget it. This is more like sea-scented disappointment in noodle form. And here's the real kicker. This one isn't even cheap. You're paying a premium for the illusion. A pretty package, an upscale name, and zero payoff. It's not dinner. It's a warning in a microwave tray. A reminder that packaging can lie just as much as a bad Tinder bio. Aldi put this in the specially selected line like it's some sort of gourmet gem. But let's be honest. If your lobster needs quotes, you probably shouldn't be eating it. But we're not done with betrayal just yet. Because up next is a health product that completely flips the script. Simply Nature Organic chicken bone broth. Now, bone broth should be a hug in a mug. It's supposed to feel rich, soothing, like your grandma made it while humming old songs in the kitchen. But this? One sip, and it's like betrayal through a straw. Customers say it tastes bitter, sour, medicinal. One reviewer even said it reminded them of chicken-flavored cough syrup. And here's where it hurts. Most people buy this thinking they're making a smart choice. Organic. Simple. It has the look of clean eating. But what's inside that box is a culinary wrecking ball. Toss this into your soup and suddenly everything tastes like regret. Worse still, it doesn't just ruin the broth. It ruins the whole dish. That soup you were proud of? Gone. All those veggies you chopped? Wasted. Dinner plans derailed, and now you're Googling takeout options wondering how it all went so wrong. Let this be a lesson. Clean label doesn't equal clean flavor. Sometimes the healthiest looking items do the dirtiest damage. Speaking of damage, let's hit Happy Harvest Fire roasted tomatoes. The idea is solid. Fire roasted tomatoes add depth and that smoky warmth to sauces, stews, chilies. But this can? It delivers none of that. What you get is a harsh, burnt smell, not smoky. Burnt. As in fire alarm in your kitchen energy. Open it up and you might find something even worse, reports of debris. Not seasoning. Debris. One user described finding small black specks they thought were charred skin, until they realized it was something else entirely. Multiple customers online have raised red flags about taste inconsistencies, bizarre aftertastes, and a weird chemical aroma that doesn't belong anywhere near pasta night. Think you're just saving 40 cents? Think again. That sauce you plan to impress your family with? Now it's headed for the trash, along with your appetite and possibly your faith in canned goods. And that brings us to the kind of product that should be fail-proof. Something so basic, so safe, that messing it up seems impossible. Yet here we are, face to face with Dakota's Pride baked beans. The name sounds nostalgic. Pride. You think cookouts. Backyard BQs. Comfort food. But what you actually get? A weird, soggy, flavorless sludge that somehow manages to feel old and bland at the same time. The texture? Mushy. The taste? Vague. The aftertaste? Disturbing. One shopper compared it to canned dog food soaked in regret. And while that's brutal, it's also kinda accurate. The worst part? These beans look the part. You see the label and it feels familiar, trustworthy. But that's the trick. When the packaging leans on your memories, your taste buds expect magic. What they get instead is betrayal. Again. You're starting to see the pattern, right? We've been trained to think cheaper is always smarter. But if the food ends up in the trash, or worse, ruins your dinner, how smart is that, really? Stick around because in the next segment we're flipping the switch. You'll see the psychological tricks behind these fake deals, and which big-name brands they're copying without delivering the goods. And hey, if you're tired of throwing away your hard-earned cash on underwhelming bites, do yourself a favor, hit that subscribe button for Undercover Spoon. We've got your back, no fluff, no filters, just straight-up food truth. Now that we've exposed the worst offenders, let's zoom out, because there's a game being played here, and you're the target. These Aldi letdowns? They're not random mistakes, they're strategic swaps. Psychological bait. See, retailers know that price-sensitive shoppers are looking for familiar shapes, colors, and keywords, so they build the packaging to mimic your favorite brands, just enough to trigger comfort. Same layout, same font, same color scheme, but inside, totally different story. Take Clancy's nacho cheese chips again. You don't buy those because you love Clancy. You buy them because the bag feels like Doritos. It's a knockoff wrapped in nostalgia, and that's intentional. The flavor doesn't have to be good. It just has to get in your cart. Same with the cheese crackers. You glance, you see a red box, orange cracker, little smile of familiarity. Your brain fills in the blanks. Oh, Cheez-Its, but cheaper. Except once you're home, that taste betrayal hits hard. This is called value mimicry, where low-cost brands imitate visual cues from premium ones to borrow trust. And Aldi does it with eerie precision. They know that you're more likely to try something that reminds you of a product you already love. But when the taste doesn't deliver, that's not a mistake. That's the business model. And you're not imagining the drop in quality either. Let's revisit those fruits and veggies for a moment. Aldi's produce supply chain relies heavily on third-party distributors that prioritize speed and cost over freshness. According to sourcing reports and consumer forums, a lot of their produce arrives pre-packaged before hitting shelves, sometimes already approaching its spoil window. So when you buy it, you're already racing the clock. That fresh spinach might have been bagged up 4 days ago. It's not that Aldi can't sell good produce. It's that you're gambling every time you shop there. Sometimes it's fine, sometimes it's compost waiting to happen. And that gourmet line, the specially selected products, a fascinating case of label inflation. Take that lobster mac and cheese. Lobster isn't even the first ingredient. Some batches contain less than 2% lobster meat. The rest is mostly artificial flavoring, textured protein, and cheese-like sauce. So yes, the name is technically true. But is it honest? You tell me. And here's the deeper problem. When brands lean on emotional marketing, health words, luxury terms, nostalgia cues, they're not trying to inform you. They're trying to disarm you. Let's unpack the Simply Nature bone broth situation. Organic? Yes, but also filled with yeast extract and natural flavors, which, for the record, can legally include dozens of lab-manipulated compounds. The USDA allows it, but your taste buds know the difference. So now you've wasted money, ruined your soup, and lost trust in that friendly green label. And yet, you'll see it again next week, smiling at you from the shelf. And we haven't even talked about the fire-roasted tomatoes, the ones with the smoky taste that feels more chemical than culinary. Multiple users have flagged inconsistencies between cans. Some report a mild, roasted flavor. Others get a harsh, acrid taste that ruins entire recipes. That's not bad luck. That's bad batch control. Want to know the real reason this keeps happening? Because the margins are built into the compromise. Budget grocers like Aldi often source from smaller manufacturers, international suppliers, or surplus producers. The goal isn't culinary excellence. It's bulk, shelf-stable, and cheap. And when that's your North Star, something has to give. Usually it's flavor, sometimes it's freshness. Occasionally it's both. But let's not just blame Aldi. They're doing what all major retailers do, building private labels to increase profits. It's a growing trend. In 2024 alone, private label sales hit record highs. Why? Because they cost less to make and bring in bigger margins than national brands. You might save 50 cents on the shelf, but if the product doesn't deliver, if it ends up uneaten, unused, or tossed, you just paid for waste. And that's the real trick. They sell you the illusion of saving while quietly draining your trust, one bland bite at a time. Still with me? Good. Because the final section brings it home with practical strategies, alternative picks, and one last jaw-dropping example of a product so bad, it almost seems like a prank. And hey, if you're finding this breakdown eye-opening, go ahead and hit that subscribe button to Undercover Spoon. We're building a no-nonsense community that shops smarter, eats better, and refuses to get played by flashy packaging. Next up, how to decode real value. And the shocking Aldi item that fooled everyone until it didn't. Let's talk about Dakota's Pride baked beans. Because if there's one product that deserves the title of total culinary scam, It's this one. Baked beans should be simple, sweet, savory, a little smoky. Something your dad grilled next to burgers. Something your grandma simmered in a big pot for Sunday dinner. But what do you get here? A gelatinous, goopy mess that somehow tastes like absolutely nothing and vaguely like chemical cleaner at the same time. The beans are overcooked into mush, the sauce tastes like ketchup mixed with despair, and the texture? One reviewer said it best, it's like someone pre-chewed them and gave up halfway. Harsh? Maybe. Accurate? Oh yes. And it gets worse. For some shoppers, the issue isn't just taste, it's trust. People expect baked beans to be a safe purchase, a fallback. So when that first bite hits like a punishment, it's not just gross. It's personal. Like opening a family photo album and finding every picture has been replaced with stock images. But here's the wild part. Dakota's Pride is still on shelves, still moving units, still being marketed as a classic pantry staple. And that's because it looks safe. The label doesn't scream experiment, it screams familiar. But what's inside? A hard pass from every direction. Which brings us to this final truth. A bad product isn't just a waste of money. It's a betrayal of your instincts. You were trying to shop smart, stretch your dollars, feed your family, maybe even eat healthier or try new flavors. But these products, they exploited that effort. And the damage isn't just financial, it's emotional. It's the moment you realize your bargain dinner is ruined, or that your healthy option turned your soup into sludge, or that your snacks taste like crushed expectations. And the deeper pattern? These letdowns all follow the same formula. Pretty packaging, familiar branding, disastrous payoff. So how do you fight back? First, question anything that mimics a national brand too closely. If it looks exactly like a product you know, but goes by a slightly off name, there's a reason. You're being nudged into trusting a stranger in disguise. Second, don't let words like organic, selected, fire-roasted, or premium blind you. Those aren't quality guarantees. They're marketing tools, and just like a filter on social media, they're designed to mask the flaws. Third, and this is key, listen to the feedback loop. Reddit, food forums, product review sites, they're full of real people who've been burned. And when a dozen shoppers say the bone broth ruined their soup, believe them. That's not a fluke. That's a pattern. Lastly, remember this. Value isn't about price. It's about performance. A 99-cent can that goes straight to the trash is not cheaper than a $1.49 product that actually delivers. When food fails, it doesn't matter how affordable it was. The real cost is your wasted time, ruined meal, and shattered trust. So next time you're walking those aisles, pause, look closer. Ask the harder question, am I saving money or just settling? Because if your cart is full of shortcuts that lead to the garbage, it's not a budget, it's a boomerang. It always comes back. And if this list made you double take at your last grocery run, you're not alone. Drop your worst Aldi product experience in the comments, and don't hold back. What looked like a steal, but felt like a scam? And before you go, you need to check out our next breakdown. 10 Walmart items that beat premium brands. Some of these store brand sleepers are outperforming name brands on taste, texture, and ingredients. You'll be shocked at what made the cut, especially number 2. So hit that bell, subscribe to Undercover Spoon, and never get duped by pretty packaging again. You deserve better food, smarter deals, and the truth no one else is telling you. Stay sharp, shop wise. And remember, not every low price is a good deal.